joining us today at the Next Generation Finance Summit, hosted by the National Student Initiative. I'm excited to announce Nino Fanlo, who will be giving a speech on social finance. The presentation will last for about 30 minutes, then you'll have the chance to ask questions for about 10 minutes. You can also tweet your questions during the presentation, #NextGenFinance, and Nino Fanlo will answer them later.
Got a small enough room that I will get to the presentation and we'll be able to really talk. I had no idea if we were going to have 300 or 400 folks here, or it looks more like maybe a dozen and a half. So there's no reason for this to be so formal. A quick thing for me: how many people are still in some form of school right now? Okay. How many people have recently graduated from work? Okay. All right, I will get started with SoFi. Every time I see her, she's playing a song like this. SoFi, she makes more than some good songs and best pictures, is a different approach to student loans. We select folks for our community we think are exceptional folks in their academic achievements and their career prospects. And what we do is we then change the dynamics of their educational loans. I don't think most people view having a student loan as a tremendous positive. It's an obligation that they need to retire. We look at it differently. We look at it as effectively a fitness to a club. And that club affords you career advantages, financial advantages, and social advantages. Here we have a testimonial from a person that has a student loan from us, Katie Gold. One of the things I think we're most proud of at SoFi is that everybody who is admitted to the SoFi community is looked at by the entire community. And one of the most challenging things is finding a dynamic and successful and rewarding career. I think Josh did an excellent job about telling you some of the shortcomings. We're not here to address the issues that go in school. We're here focused on the debts that people incur post their education. And the thing I think we're most proud of is that every person who doesn't have a job that's in the SoFi community, we use the resources of the community to help them find jobs. We have 70 employees. We've got approximately 200 alumni investors, and then we've got about a dozen institutional investors. A lot of us have worked in careers that have appeal to people. I worked at KKR before I worked at SoFi, and a private equity firm, Golden Gate. Before that, I was in Wells Fargo, where I was the treasurer and chief investment officer. Before that, at Goldman Sachs. We try to use our networks to help connect people. As it says here, we consider everyone in the community equal. People who borrowed money, invested money, provided debt capital, or work. It is our belief that that entire community, over years, morphs into people that start as borrowers over their life cycle, become mentors to other people, maybe later on become investors in the community. And in doing that, it's important that the entire connection is not purely financial. This week, I don't know how much people follow the various headlines between government shutdowns and Iraq and attacking the banks. And I don't know if it was ironic to any people. It seems like we can things. Then we have this strange relationship with banks. We regulate them carefully. There's an $11 billion fine from the government prosecuting JP Morgan. We have this strange relationship with financial institutions. Clearly need them to provide capital. We don't like when they make too much money. We really don't like when they lose a lot of money. We don't like when they lend money to people that shouldn't. We don't like it when they don't lend money to people that it shouldn't. We have a very, very dysfunctional system. We think part of the reason that dysfunction exists is it's not built around a community that understands itself other than through financial transactions. So what we seek to do is to create community events and try to have an understanding and a dialogue between the entire elements of the community. So we throw supper clubs, engagement events, educational forums, and support and mechanism for our recent graduates who are starting careers, looking for mentorship, have informal ways rather than this is a formal discussion. We tend to have informal, so we'll invite people over for pizza and beer, or we'll have a slightly nicer dinner setting with a famous venture capitalist or a film producer or a former number 2 guy in Pimco. Try to describe careers in the scope of life. Careers that I reflected on yesterday because I was getting pretty worked up. There's some other things we need to do. There are long races. You need to balance in the personal interests and your families and your friends. We try to show some level of balance and understanding what that dynamic is about. I still believe people to very, very ambitious careers. So a little bit about student loans, so that's what we do besides serving your parties. Student loans didn't really exist. My daughter's in Stanford, my son's in college. When I went to college, I went to a little Quaker school outside of Philadelphia called Ackerford. It was a little less than $8,000 to go to college. And what was interesting is in 1979, I painted houses in the summer and made $10,000. So I could work in the summer. I was fortunate enough that my parents paid for college, but I could work in the summer and make enough money to pay for college. My daughter and son both worked in the summer. She worked at Stanford doing research. She made less money 35 years later than I did painting houses in 1978. And her education cost approximately 8 times what mine did. So the reality is the system has changed. This could be a discussion on its own. There's a million factors in it. I would highlight on it that the biggest problem is anything that you massively subsidize, you lose a connection. I don't care what it is. Healthcare, housing, education, anything where there is no connection between a person directly paying for something and it being available will lead to a cost increase. That is the most basic truth in economics. It's a topic that we can't resolve. But what it's led to is very, very expensive education and the need for a vast majority of people to borrow. And that factor has increased dramatically in the law for graduate schools. We have a loan operations team that I was looking at their educational background the other day. cost, and as the slide indicates, a very, very unpleasant start to many people's lives, that over 1 in 10% default, and actually about 30% are behind in one way or another. And there are enough challenges. You guys are young enough in life. There are enough challenges in life without starting your career, the tremendous amount of debt and of frustration. Over $85 billion is in past debt. The total student loan debt, for those who don't know here, is over $1 trillion. It is the second largest in consumer indebtedness after mortgages. Differences in mortgages, you have a physical asset that is readily transferable. Your education is portable, but yours is not really transferable. It is a significant issue, and it is not being mitigated effectively. What SoFi is trying to do is to try to create one source of attacking that problem. And then, unfortunately, I'm going to continue like everyone does, because Mother Jones is the source here. I think the most sad part about this is that the debt levels are unfortunately distributed as you would hope they would not. They're not distributed to those that are stable. The debt levels are distributed to those that are stable. So we are trying to make a dent in what we think is a major challenge. What does student loans mean to most people now? I think it does not have for most people an extraordinarily positive connotation, the sense of indebtedness that never ends. The government provides repayment terms of student loans that vary from 5 to 25 years. I can't tell anyone that I think it would be a very productive thing to be paying off your student loans over 25 years. I don't care if you're a doctor. I don't think it's productive. I think you got to move on with life. Being in your mid or late 40s paying off student loan debt is not an appropriate way to deal with life. Defaults. Student loan debt, because of its nature, is non-dischargeable bankruptcy. You never lose it. It stays with you. And if it wasn't that way, no one would ever lend money to the people, because they would all file for bankruptcy the second they finished. And it's a circular problem. You have to resolve it, otherwise your credit is really destroyed. There's frustration. And the rates are relatively high, not absolutely high. They're relatively high. What do? We have programs that are single payment and extremely low rates. Our rates go from 3% to a high of 6.75% fixed or variable. They're generally the lowest rates available to anyone in the country, below the government rates in all conditions. We try to reinforce value in your education. Everything that we do is to try to connect people to other people that are successful. Some of them are people that are borrowing. A lot of it is not just finding someone for careers, finding friends and networks in your cities. A lot of our customers and members from one geography to another. So getting to know other folks can be extraordinarily helpful professionally and personally. We try to make sure that network is substantive and across a broad gamut of ages. I'm 53 now, and I'm addressing a group. It's probably the youngest group of people I've addressed in the last 20 years. Doing roadshows in front of 400 or 500 people about my age. We try to have a flow through individual people from their early 20s, people in their late 60s in terms of investors and our investors. And we try to make sure everyone knows that there's a support network. One way we're trying to go and reach out is for folks that are already have secure jobs, to find a way to mitigate and reduce their costs so they can move through their careers more effectively, get on with their lives in terms of starting families, buying homes, saving for new businesses. teamed up with a number of companies. These are three of them: Facebook, I think you've all heard of Facebook. We were on their campus. They have a campus that actually mirrors downtown Palo Alto. Went to Stanford. Milbank, which is one of the top law firms in the country, based in New York. And then Square, who you'll hear about. I think many of you have probably seen them. Sept, cards when you pay for things. Jack Dorsey's second company. The first one, I think I read about that last week or so. Talk about that in public. All of these are companies that we're working with them to find their employees that have student loans and reduce their costs. Our objective in all these cases is trying to create simple programs. Many people have multiple student loans. They have as many. I think we have one person that had 16 loans and $605,000 in debt. Try to simplify it, make the payments easier, reduce the cost, and help folks move on. We do a couple of other things. The community, to increase the community, we invite both community members and others to refer people. We have multiple rewards. For some people, it's cash. For others, it's recognition in our system. For others, it's creating new networks where they can espouse to their friends some of the things they learned here. We have a really cool program. We had a function on Thursday night. It's called our Entrepreneur Program. For people that are trying to start a business, we provide relief on their student loans while they're starting a business. We provide mentoring. We provide a little bit of an incubation site to help you figure out how to build business plans and find capital. And I think we're probably going to roll through that next year. Provide certain amount of seed capital for our selected bank. We have a veterans program also for those that have served in the military and are looking to reduce their costs. We find a way to provide both incremental funds and reduce the cost of their existing funds, and also try to network them with other people that value their contributions to our country. We had last spring, two entrepreneurs that started businesses that we approved for our program. Both of them had their businesses actually already bought. And two had bought Eddie Joseph's business. The other one was bought by Consumer Brands. So I don't know if we're wise or our people are very talented. Both of them had remarkable success after 6 months. So a little bit about our programs. This is actually probably important for you to get some of the details. Federal loans today for our customers. The federal loan programs have rates that vary today from about 6.8 to 7.9%. People that have gone to graduate school, it's lower, it's just undergraduate loans. But our target market is people that have graduated from graduate programs. On average, our customers have about 7.5% blended interest rate cost. Our rates are considerably lower. The fixed rates are from 5% to 6.75%, which is a pretty significant savings. And then the variable rate is from 3% to 5%. It's a 1-month LIBOR. And I think for people that are looking at paying their loans off over the next 5-6 years, we encourage them to think seriously about that and think there's significant savings. The woman that I referenced, she's a dentist, dental surgeon, who refinanced her $600,000 plus of debt, was able to save about $1,600 a month through our program. The savings are considerable. $150 is really a month for folks, a monthly SoFi is now pushing on 2 years old. We got started in October of 2011 with $4 million, and we are going to continue to grow. Last year we raised $80 million. We've got plans to expand beyond the music videos, which I think are really Here's right down.
No, that's the beginning.
Okay, so we've got other programs that we're thinking about today. We're going to add incremental financial assistance and lending activities entirely within our conventions in 2014. We look for a second mortgage or home equity product for folks that have in our community trying to buy homes in places like New York area or San Francisco. It's extraordinarily hard. Buying a modest home will cost more than $1 million. The probability that people will save $250,000 or $300,000 very difficult. So there's ways to provide those people much more cost effective, higher loan amounts. Again, within our community, we have aspirations and we'll have to continue expanding to other countries, both in Europe and Asia. I think in 2014 we will address it. Actually, we will hope that every single member of the community, including the people that borrow money, all have equity in one of our alumni investors and institutional investors, employees, and other company. We'd like to have everybody in the form of a credit union. The only difference is this credit union has an aspiration to be a public company, a profitable public company. So we'd like to have everybody share in that success to the extent it occurs, and that will increase social engagement activities. That is SoFi in a synopsis. I really appreciate you guys being the dedicated few that stayed here to go to the Wall Street presentation next year. Your reward is probably slowly in heaven. Thanks for listening. And then we have time. I planned for about 5 or 10 minutes of questions. This group, everybody wants to ask, but probably can't ask. So thank you. Welcome. As Ferris Bueller wrote that note,
The mentors that is it the same group of investors that are doing this mentoring, or do you want to get the staff to take them?
that's a very good question. We actually have a series of components. There are alumni in cities that, depending on the person's professional expertise, they provide that mentoring. Every one of our corporate partners, they come on board, we ask them to commit time to access people within their companies. We have our actual senior employees in our firm that provide mentoring. We actually have some of our borrowers who are at slightly higher stages of their careers, in some ways provide incredibly useful mentoring. If you're a young resident, probably the best person to talk to is the person who's just started in their actual banking practice, which is late 60s. They have questions. And then we have actually a couple of employees that are permanent employees of ours who are just on the task. We got a recruiter, Bob Hart. His sole job is to help place people in careers. So he doesn't have any other responsibility other than work with our community and help you find job prospects. And that's all. And there's no payment for that. It's just part of the network. So it's a process. Yes.
Speak about membership. How does one become?
Becoming a member means you are attached to the community in one of the following ways. You are an investor in the community, either in the school funds or in the company. You're an employee, or you're a borrower who borrow money. So somehow you have an attachment into it. We would consider everyone given us, I think, $5 million, and an investor who borrowed $70 million. With everybody, kind of incrementally like make products, like great art facility, potentially a product or something.
How do you determine who will lend to? Is it a different or is there
It's a much more thorough thing than most consumer. My background was in finance and credit. Look at people or typically a corporate credit. We look at a person's years of experience, their academic degrees, their current job, financial conditions, their expenses, and we come up with effectively a scoring system that describes a person's ability to pay the loan and to the highest criteria, the lowest rate, and then the lowest criteria is to generate lower than all the rates that exist. Okay? We clearly take a select group of people. Our long-term strategic plan is, I think, we'd like to bring down the cost of debt significantly. I think we can bring down another 100% more next year as we get more concerned. And the long-term game plan is there are people that are being overcharged for their education who want to reduce that cost. There's no question, I don't want to pretend. This is taking people to be more responsible, more successful. We're going to reduce their cost. Those people who are more responsible, more successful in our system, they pay higher taxes, they contribute, they volunteer. It's not like they're people that are not doing other things in society. Ultimately, we want to show that if you do things the right way, you should get lower loan costs. So if you go through school and graduate, you should get a lower loan cost than when you had graduated. And if you go get incremental degrees, which is a huge contribution of time and money, you should get a lower cost for doing that. The government does it the opposite way. The more you invest in yourself, the more they charge. Only the government can figure out something that the least creditworthy person got the lowest rate, and the most creditworthy person got the highest rate. And the most creditworthy person who's got the job and now doing it gets no. The whole system is absolutely upside down. What it should do is it should tell you before you start getting an education, it's going to cost a lot of money. And it should, in a mild way, make you very serious about incurring it. Then as you get more experience and you become less of a credit risk, it should reduce your costs. It's absolutely the other way. It tries to entice you. If it was a consumer lender doing this, the guy would be prosecuted. Because they're going to try to hook the person into something they probably aren't sure they want to do. It's really a really bad system. But not by bad people, by people that don't understand. Because the statement is education is better for you. Education is better for you. But all of you are sitting here on a beautiful Sunday. When I wasn't working at Goldman Sachs when I lived in New York, I would have been outside. You care about that people learn other than school. So it should always encourage people to learn. It should be very disciplined about telling people to dedicate huge amounts of their lives, a lot of cost without understanding what it is. And then it should reward you over time for achieving milestones. That's actually what we're trying to do. That's what we're trying to do. Yes.
You said your career services begun about 2 years ago, and from what you're telling me, it looks like you guys were successful, or you're becoming successful. But my ultimate question is, you said you don't receive funding from government, so what sponsors or organizations do you receive funding from,
Yeah.
if any?
Yeah, we've raised $500 million for SoFi thus far. The funding comes from alumni at the schools. It comes from banks that can expand programs, institutional investors, and from nonprofits. Right, most of the time is explained to people. Okay, 2 minutes. I explain to people what our premise is and why it's valuable, and what should be exciting to people who grow this. This is universally well received.